What's up, YouTube? Thomas L here with Happy Death Day to You opening this week. Since it's, of course, a two-parter horror movie sequel, I decided to do my top 10 favorite two-parter horror movie sequels. Meaning these are only horror sequels that has a two-part in it, so I'm not counting part 3, part 4, or anything like that. So, that being said, here's my top 10 favorite horror movie sequels, two-parters. Alright. Coming in at number 10 is The Devil's Reject. The Devil's Reject is, of course, a sequel to Houses of 10,000 Corpses. Devil's Reject is really cool. I mean, to me, it's even better than the original. I mean, how many times you could think of any sequel that's actually better than the original? Devil's Reject is actually better than 10 Houses of 10,000 Corpses. I mean, the Firefly family, played by Bill Moseley, Sherry Moon Zombie, and Sid Haig, are all really cool. Of course, you got William Forsythe in this. It's directed by Rob Zombie. Devil's Reject is very gruesome and it's pretty bloody. I mean, you don't mess with the Firefly family. And of course, one of my anticipated horror movies of the year is pretty much Three from Hell, which is a follow up to The Devil's Reject. So can't wait to see that. And if you guys haven't seen Devil's Reject, oh sorry, if you guys haven't seen Devil's Reject yet, give it a go. It's really cool. All right, coming in at number 9 is Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Now I believe this was like the last time Tobe Hooper directed a Texas Chainsaw film, and this movie also has Bill Moseley in it, by the way. Of course, this time Leatherface is back, terrorizing new people this time around. The Texas Chainsaw franchise, once in a while they're hit and misses, but part 2 is awesome. I mean, it's even bloodier than the first one. And yeah, I mean, Leatherface was pretty cool on the second time around. This time, Leatherface was played by Bill Johnson, who did pretty good as the role of Leatherface in part 2. And yeah, I mean, this time around, he's pretty much trying to kill a disc jockey played by Caroline Williams, who, of course, teams up with a Texas lawman named Leffie Enright, played by Dennis Hopper, to battle the psychopath and his family. I mean, Devil's Reject and Texas Chainsaw has some of the most messed up families here. Yeah, definitely the most dysfunctional horror families out there, Alright. Coming in at number 8 is Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. Now, in this one, it's about a guy named Jesse Walsh who moves with his family into the home of the lone survivor from a series of attacks by dream-stalking monster Freddy Krueger. And so there, he's pretty much bedeviled by nightmares and inexplicably violent impulses. And I mean, this time around, you got Robert Englund back as Freddy. You got this actor named Mark Patton play the role of Jesse. He was pretty good. I mean, Texas. Nightmare on Elm Street 2 wasn't as good as the original, but I still thought it was pretty decent. I mean, Freddy is a really iconic horror movie character, and he really did numbers on the characters in this movie. I mean, come on, Freddy's seriously a character where he kills you in your dreams. So there's that. And Freddy's Revenge is pretty cool. I mean, and of course after this, they of course did more Nightmare on Elm Street films. I really dug this franchise. I mean, the sequels aren't like great or anything, but they're pretty fun to watch. But Freddy's Revenge is definitely the better sequel. All right, coming in at number 7 is Final Destination 2. Now, the first Final Destination featured in an airplane, and this time around, it's featured like there's a highway accident that kills like multiple people and all. And of course, death pretty much stalks them after they leave the crash. Final Destination 2, I mean, it's really gruesome. I mean, I will admit it's not as good as the first Final Destination or the other sequels. I gotta say, probably part 3 is maybe the better out of all of them, but part 2 is still pretty decent. I mean, there's lots of people that are frightened of going on highways because of Final Destination 2. And it's pretty gruesome. The lead actress is also actress AJ Cook, who you might remember from Criminal Minds. She's pretty much the lead in this. Noah Fisher, way before he played Mickey Milkovich on Shameless, he has a part in this. Has some good actors in this as well, and some really cool death scenes. I mean, the death scenes in these movies are really brutal, and they're really fun to watch. And part 2 is definitely one of the best ones. And I mean, the Final Destination films, they tell you one thing: you can't escape death. All right, coming in at number 6 is Hatchet 2. Now, this one starred Danielle Harris as Mary Beth, who's pretty much trying to kill Victor Crowley because Victor Crowley killed her parents. Not her parents, her dad and her brother. I mean, if you want to talk about gruesome deaths, I mean, Hatchet is seriously one of the most gruesome franchise ever. When Victor Crowley kills, I mean, he kills. These things are really very fun and brutal. And part 2 is pretty decent. I mean, this time around, you got Tony Todd back. I don't really want to spoil much, but there's a scene that happens with Tony Todd in this that will make your mouth drop. And I mean, it's pretty cool how they always get horror icons in this. And I mean, this in the first one it had Robert Englund. This one had Tony Todd. The sequel has Derek Mears, who of course played Jason in the remake. And not to mention Victor Crowley is played by Kane Hodder, who of course played Jason Voorhees. So yeah, and Victor Crowley is seriously a killer you do not want to mess with in these films. I mean, that guy's hands are really powerful. I mean, lots of people actually want Victor Crowley for Mortal Kombat, and you know what? I think he's a perfect character for Mortal Kombat. Coming in at number 5 is Scream 2. Now, I will admit, Scream 2 is a bit of the weakest out of the franchise, but I still, quite enjoyed it. I mean, Neve Campbell, of course, was once back again. Sarah Michelle Gellar was in this. You even had Courtney Cox, David Arquette, Jamie Kennedy was back. I really, loved Scream 2. It had some pretty cool kills here. Of course, you had Ghostface back. The twist at the end that you probably didn't see coming when you first saw this movie was pretty cool. I'm not going to spoil it because I don't know how many people still haven't seen Scream 2 yet. But if you guys seen Scream 2, you know what spoiler I'm talking about. You know what twist I'm talking about if you have seen that. And of course, this is a follow to the first Scream. This time around, Neve Campbell's Sydney is pretty much a college student this time, and of course she's trying to get away from the Ghostface killer once again. It's really cool. I mean, the kills in Scream 2 is pretty fun to watch. It's always nice to see Sarah Michelle Gellar in a horror film like this. Yeah, Scream 2 is awesome. And Scream 3 and 4, I definitely love as well. This is probably one of my favorite franchises, by the way. All right, coming in at number 4 is Evil Dead 2. Now, this is the second installment in the Evil Dead franchise. And of course, you had Bruce Campbell back as Ash Williams once again, battling horrifying demons at pretty much a cabin in the woods. I mean, Ash Williams is a really iconic horror character. I mean, Bruce Campbell just plays that role just perfectly. Of course, it was directed by Sam Raimi, who did great with these films. Yeah, I really loved Evil Dead 2. I mean, it is gruesome, like very gruesome. There's lots of bloody scenes in this. There's lots of kills in it. I mean, Evil Dead 2 is really awesome. And of course, after Evil Dead 2, there was Army of Darkness, which was decent too. But I never really loved Army of Darkness as most people do. It's a good film, but it was never really my favorite out of the Evil Dead films. Evil Dead 2 is definitely the best out of the franchise. All right, coming in at number 3 is pretty much a recent one, and that would be the recent Halloween. Now, this is pretty much a follow-up to, of course, 1970s Halloween film. Now, I could have added maybe either John Carpenter's Halloween 2 or maybe Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, which I kind of dug the Rob Zombie Halloween 2 one. But I'm actually going to go with the recent one. I mean, this Halloween was fantastic. It was loads of fun. I mean, lots of cool kills. This time around, they pretty much, ignored every Halloween movies that came after the original and just spanned it from the original, of course. I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode was awesome in here because you had Judy Greer in this. It's directed by David Gordon Green, written by Danny McBride. Really cool cast, really cool director. Michael Myers is pretty cool in this. Yeah, I really loved the new Halloween. And I'm really looking forward to see another one if they, decide to go ahead and make it. But we'll see what happens there. Anyway, coming in at number 2 is Friday the 13th Part 2. Now, I think this is actually better than the original Friday the 13th. Of course, the original is a classic. But this time around, it's of course the second entry in the long-running horror series. And of course, this time around, it focuses on like a group of teenage would-be counselors on Camp Crystal Lake for training under the tutelage of head counselor Paul, played by John Farley. And of course, Paul, relates the story of Jason Voorhees, who's actually played by Warrington Gillespie. And of course, I mean, we don't really get to see Jason until Part 3, like Jason full action to Part 3. But Jason was, I mean, we pretty much mainly seen Jason as a kid in this one. I mean, Jason is pretty much an iconic horror character. He's really cool to watch on screen. And the young Jason is completely creepy. I mean, the young Jason might actually be creepier than the adult Jason. I mean, now you see why Jason wear his mask, because that face alone will give you nightmares. And Friday the 13th 2 is just pretty cool. I mean, I actually just rewatched it on, I think it was TMC, I believe. It's a horror sequel that still holds up, and of course, I love the other films in the franchise. And I'm still hoping we get another Friday the 13th movie in the future, but we'll see what happens there. All right, now my number 1 favorite horror movie sequel is Child's Play 2. I mean, Child's Play 2 is just awesome. I even think it's better than the first Child's Play. I mean, this time around, you got Chucky, wanting to kill Andy, because Andy's in like a foster care unit now. And this time around, you also got a new character named Kyle, played by Christine Ellis. Christine, I thought was a scene stealer as the role of Kyle. I mean, she played that role really well. And also, you had Brad Dourif returning as Chucky. The one who plays Andy. What's his name? Oh yeah, Alex Vincent. Alex Vincent is really good at playing the role of Andy. And this one has some even more gruesome kills. I mean, the kills in these Friday the 13th movie, the kills in these Child's Play Chucky movies gets gruesome as each series goes along. I mean, this time around you have someone getting killed with a like those toy socket, those toy machine things, and his like eye is popping out. My God, that's probably one of the most gruesome scenes from the Chucky films. And Chucky's of course has a foul mouth in this one as well, and yeah, I just love Child's Play 2, and yeah, if you guys never seen Child's Play 2 yet, definitely give this one a go. I mean, the scene at the end with the toy store thing was pretty, not toy store, but toy maker thing was pretty cool to watch as well. And of course, I'm actually really looking forward for the remake coming out this year, but we'll see how good that is. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me do the quick rundown. Number 10, The Devil's Reject. 9, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. 8, Nightmare on Elm Street 2. 7, Final Destination 2. 6, Hatchet 2. 5, Scream 2. 4, Evil Dead 2. 3, Halloween 2, Friday the 13th Part 2. 1, Child's Play 2. Now, there's a few other ones I could have added. Let me pull up the list. Dawn of the Dead's pretty much a sequel. 28 Weeks Later I could have added. Aliens. Hellraiser 2 is pretty good. Blade 2. Let's see. Psycho 2 is pretty decent. There's Hostel Part 2, which is really gruesome. The Conjuring 2 is pretty good. There's Paranormal Activity 2. The Exorcist 2 isn't all that bad. Jaws 2 is decent. The sequels after Jaws 2 were not, but anyway. Let me leave with you guys. What are some of your favorite horror movie sequels? Two-parters, I should say. Drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for more notifications. This here is Tom Sells signing off.